So on today's episode, we have a little bit of different setup here. Brian's dad is a beekeeper in Pennsylvania area here, and he does a lot of his own honey. So today he's going to be taking it out of the comb and putting it in the spinner here and spinning the honey out so he can collect it and put it in jars. So tell us a little bit about how you're going to do your process and why the honey's so dark.
Well, this is dark honey. Different plants give different colors of honey. Clover will be a dark amber. Different wildflowers.
So just based on different wildflowers, that's what makes the different honey?
Different. Yeah, you get different colors. This real dark honey right here, that's from what they call Japanese knotweed. It's almost black.
So that honey right there, it is almost black. I mean, it is every bit of dark. And he's got a nice wax cap on top of that too. Now, how do you know when to harvest the squares here? What are they called?
We call these bee frames.
Bee frames.
Honey. We put 10 of these in a honey super, and then when they're all capped over, you know your honey's done. If they're not capped over, then the bees didn't cap it because the moisture content's not down enough.
Now, does that cap on both sides whenever, like, do they have to be capped on both sides to know that they're ready, or is it just one side? Or?
Yeah, I mean, you can buy a refractometer and check your honey for moisture content. Maybe they might not have just got it capped over, it might be good, but it checks the moisture content in your honey. If it's capped, the bees know what moisture content.
So they know it's ready to go.
It won't ferment once it's capped over if it's at the right moisture level.
Now, will it have a different taste being that it's that dark?
Yes.
Will it taste a lot different?
Yeah, I think so. But if you give me a minute, I'll go get a spoon so you can try it.
Okay, I'll try it. So what do you recommend here? Just come down and
just scoop in there whatever you want.
I just want to try a little bit here.
Is it almost reddish?
Yeah. If you look onto the back of the spoon here, you can see it's almost like a caramel, like a dark caramel color. That is phenomenal honey there.
It's from that Japanese knotweed that's dying out there.
I'll take it over there. That is delicious.
Japanese bamboo, Japanese knotweed. They have different names for it, but that makes it's a red honey. If it was the break open when you were outside and pulled the hive apart, you'd see the real red.
Wow.
Too. That's probably mixed with some other honeys. Just because bees don't care, they're just interested in putting it in the cells for food.
Yeah, I mean that's delicious honey though. So here is the spinner making pulling the honey out of the trays here. And all it's doing is just using gravity to pull it out of the actual cells themselves, and then it falls down the bottom, and then it'll come out this little spout right here. Right now it's collecting in the bottom part of this tube. So you'll be able to get, how much honey do you think you'll get out of the racks you have today? Well, actually, how many racks do you have?
I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes. If they were all full, it'd be a lot of honey. They're not all full.
Oh, okay. So what are you looking at? You think, as far as like jars wise, will you fill this up?
I'll fill a 5-gallon bucket up with that.
Oh wow, that's actually a lot of honey. It's a lot more than I thought it was going to be.
One of these big boxes here weighs about 100 pounds when they're full.
Wow. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but everything down there is a super dark honey. Oh, there you can see it very well. It's almost a reddish tint, like a reddish brownish tint. That's really good, and it still has a little bit of wax on it, but whenever you pour it through, I'm sure you're going to sift it.
We're going to sift it through these strainers.
So here's a strainer here.
Here's a coarse one, and then the fine mesh.
And so you'll run that through, and then all the wax will come out of the actual honey itself.
Yep, and then we'll reuse the wax, we'll melt it down. And when I get new plastic foundations, I'll melt the wax and then I'll roll it on the plastic foundation, and I'll give the bees a head start next year when they draw their comb out.
Oh wow! So do you take all the honey from each hive?
No, I leave 100 to 130 pounds on per hive.
And that's enough to get them through their winter?
That'd be enough to get them through winter, yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Is there like a formula how much you have to leave per how long winter season is?
No, not that I know of. I just try to always leave extra. Sometimes I leave more than that on. It just depends how busy. I figured if the bees don't use it, and then next year it'll just go to new hives or something to get them a head start.
That's pretty cool. And you said the weed that's out here, the Japanese knotweed, is that bamboo looking stuff there.
Yes.
And that's what causes that dark red honey.
Dark red, yeah.
That's amazing.
And it has all the different.
This is one frame, completely capped over, and I mean, there is significant weight to that. That is every bit of 10 or 15 pounds. That is insane amount of honey on that. And it looks like it's going to be really dark honey too.
This one's capped over too.
Capped over all the way. So that when you get them capped over, like, I'm going to guess that means more honey in the cells.
No, they got these ones full, like I said. They just didn't get a chance to cap that little bit. That's not coming out or anything. It's moisture content would be good on it.
So when it starts pouring, like if you pull it out and it's pouring, does that mean?
Yeah, then it's not dried
ready.
out enough, and you'll get fermentation. If I put it in a jar, it'll just do like any normal food. Then it'll ferment on you. And
No. So how long will honey last if you like water content's right?
forever.
Oh, I've heard people say it'll go 100 years, but
Well,
I never knew
it'll just crystallize, and then if you heat it up, it'll reliquefy.
Right back
it'll
into
look
honey.
like sugar in a jar if it crystallizes.
That's really cool.
Crystallized, and other stuff you'll have for 2 months, it'll start crystallizing.
But as long as you keep, what temperature did you say, below 115?
Yeah, you'll keep all the good properties. The best thing you could do is you could put it in the freezer.
And it just stays nice and.
Yep.
So he's pulling them out and checking out of the spinner. So what are you looking for
See,
here?
that's even starting to crystallize. I'm just looking to see if the cells are empty, but
So is this in here, like all the white, is that empty there?
yes, but you can see how it looks. Some of it looks sugary.
Yep.
It was starting to crystallize. It will crystallize right in the comb also.
Wow. So is there any way to get it out once it crystallizes in the
No, I
comb?
normally feed it back to the bees and they'll take care of it. And
And
they'll re-liquefy it and put it in a new cell in their house.
So the best thing to do is it'll crystallize, just give it back to the bees.
That's normally what I do, because you're not going to spin it out of this.
No. No, it looks like it's already hard enough to spin it out, let alone.
Right. Now this side. So I gotta flip it around on the spinner, and then we'll spin this side out.
So is this all honey in here too?
Yes.
It's a little bit lighter color honey though.
Yeah. Yep. And you'll see that there's dark and then light spots and then light. And the bees don't care. They just put it in whenever cell's empty. They don't separate dark and light.
And that's all just based on the pollen from each different flower.
Yeah, whatever nectar they're getting from each flower, and they're all different.
So then he loads it into the spinner here. And it's got different, I'm gonna see if I can get it to focus there. And it's got just a rack to hold that, and then he's got one on each side, probably to balance weight, huh?
Yes. Yeah, centrifugal force on these ones.
Wow, there's a lot of honey on that backside.
There's quite
Oh, you got quite a bit on that one, yeah, too.
I'm gonna leave this one on, that turn it up a little bit more, and hopefully it pulls it. Maybe I'll spin it this way and then redo this one a little bit longer.
That was some of the best tasting honey I've had in a long time.
It don't get any fresher.
That is a really good whirlwind to smell, I'll tell you what. So it's down in here spinning, you can see actually you can see it right there, the honey's hitting the wall in this piece. You see the honey hitting? I'll tell you what, that smells like some of the best smell in the world right there.
That's all you'll smell.
That's awesome.
A lot of people make candles and different things out of them.
Do you do anything with the wax at all?
I don't.
Do you have anybody that ever asked for it?
Yes, I've sold some before in the past or give it away. Normally, if I gotta melt it all down, I don't. I sell it to them. If it's just in a bucket and loose like this is gonna be, I normally don't give this wax is what I like to do my plastic foundation with, because it's a real clean, and I filter that through, like you could use pantyhose or a t-shirt once it's heated up. That's clover honey. See, it's just an amber.
So when you get a nice amber color, it looks dark on here. It's a little bit darker, but
well, the capping looks real dark.
Capping looks dark too, but it's a little bit lighter. Actually, classify it as light?
Yeah, I'd classify this as light.
And then he's just scraping the wax off into the container, and then the honey stays in the comb. That's why he's using that spinner to pull all that out.
Things like that, but that's... And then these cappings, till I get done with this, I'll have honey all through here, and I'll just put that, dump all that in the strainer. And
down these strainers here into that 5-gallon bucket. That came out fast. That was, you had the other stuff in a lot longer, it seemed like.
well, I didn't have it turned up. It just depends how fast I turn it.
And that's
They're
all.
on. You know how much sugars are in it, how quick they come out. See, this one's this one got sugars in it yet. It's got some crystallization yet.
I'm guessing?
Yeah, you want that clean one, you're gonna get some sticky fingers.
Oh, that's fine. Is that too deep?
Yeah, probably a little deep.
It's through a lot easier.
There's no, I haven't found the right or wrong way to do it. Well, I found a lot of wrong ways to do it. Jeez, anyhow.
Now you just take this off here. Good, I want to watch the honey hitting the side again.
Oh, hang on. It's gonna jump. No, you're good. It's just a safety switch there.
So it runs it off a little more.
Now you can open her up. Look, we're jumping around. Now you can open it up. It's not going to come up that. We'll see.
Wow, there's a lot. When you first turn that on, that just dumps into there.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite a bit there. When you first do that.
Now this is Brian's dad. This is the guy, the father guy that shot every ring neck of 5 feet this year in the first ring neck video. And when I'm around him, we call him JR because they're both named Brian. So if you hear me saying Brian, it's two different people. But if you see our sponsor there, Natural Ice, Natural Ice, and Wendy's. There's Brian. That is the ring neck killer. This is a 4-foot. Holy cow, look at all that stuff pouring out of there. If you could smell through this camera what that smells like. If you like honey smell, that's it. Yep. You can pick it up right on the edge of your fingernail, there's the line. And you can see it in the comb here. It literally is the difference between what flower they're hitting. That's all light honey, and that's all dark honey. Looks like it's dark underneath cap quite a bit too.
We get a lot of it like that.
We're almost to the top of that plug. So reference wise. Probably sitting right in here somewhere. Almost have about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of honey.
And it right there.
That is like,
and here's
like blood red
honey.
almost. Yep.
Yeah.
So there's clear. There's the red, how dark that red is. So we got done spinning. We got the we have the honey at the bottom of the spinner. And you can see whenever it moves, it's spinning the honey. So he's going to take and drain it out, run it through his fine and coarse sifter there into the bucket.
That'll make a good picture here. Everybody likes that picture.
Look how thick that is. Look how dark it is too.
These filters do wonderful catching all that wax.
Do they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you won't hardly. I mean, that bottom filter is pretty fine.
Yeah, I seen that. It looked like a really fine screen. Right down through the plug.
We can go like that picture.
That's all the wax through the rough screen right there.
Oh, I didn't want to do that. Tip it too far to the side.
Wow, and then that comes out, there's no wax in that at all. It's just pure honey.
If it is, it's smaller than this little filter.
I
That's
mean,
pretty fine.
That's a really fine filter on that one side, but I mean to the point where there's no wax. If you want raw honey, that's it there. Combs and stuff. And that's how you make honey, huh, Brian?
Yes.